Well, ladies and gentlemen. Well. I just finished watching Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Edition. And there's so much I would love to say, but I have a restricted time limit of 10 to 15 minutes, so I'm going to try and keep it to that. First and foremost, you have to understand, I really enjoyed Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, the theatrical cut. I have seen the theatrical cut 8 times. Okay? I really love this movie. And I have watched Man of Steel. In fact, I have a copy of Man of Steel. I don't have an official. I still have an unofficial copy of Man of Steel. I have to go and purchase the DVD for Man of Steel, or even the high definition digital copy of Man of Steel. But anyway, I love Man of Steel and I love Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. In fact, my rating for Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, the theatrical cut, was 8.2 out of 10. Okay? So you have to understand that when I saw the Ultimate Edition, that significantly spiked up. In fact, I thought Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, the theatrical cut, was a solid movie. The Ultimate Edition, in my opinion is just an opinion, is a masterpiece. And it has moved from 8.2 and it has spiked all the way up to 9.0. That is 0.8 out of 10. It's moved that far up, points. So you have to understand that Zack Snyder outdid himself in the Ultimate Edition. I do strongly agree with John Schnepp of Collider Videos. This is the version that should have gone into the cinemas. It should not have been touched. This is the version they should have gone out with. And people who had logistic problems with the film, with the writing of the film, with the way how it was cut and edited, I didn't have problems with it, but other people did. I think those problems would have been annihilated by Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition, because it clearly explains itself extremely well, whereas in the theatrical cut it was not as obvious, and it wasn't verbally as well as visually showed to people. This one, the Ultimate Edition, you can be brain dead and you will understand it, because basically this particular version of the movie explains everything. Alright, there's not much you can actually have to piece together, and it's very linear, and it's also got a lot more information in it actually. In fact, some of the things I just could not speculate on, or I couldn't piece together, and the Ultimate Edition actually did that. So I realized I was wrong about certain things that I was gesticulating, and then other things that I pieced together in the theatrical cut were absolutely that in the Ultimate Edition. Just more elaboration on it. Basically the same movie. Now, why do I call this movie a masterpiece of theatrical filmmaking? Point number one. This movie, from the beginning to the end of the movie, really stirs up your emotions on the characters in the movie. You will, at the end of the movie, have empathy for Superman. You will have that. You will have that. In fact, you may cry. In the theatrical cut, on my second viewing, I shed a couple tears about Superman's death, because I saw the seriousness of it. In the Ultimate Edition, having watched the movie 8 times, and now seeing it the 9th time, I straight up cried. It reminded me of so many people close to me who passed away, and sometimes how situations go. They don't always go the way you want them to. And his sacrifice really vibed with me. Emotionally, I went there. Now, what would I say about people who hated this movie? If you hated this movie because of the logistics, that is to say, how the style of the movie, how the theatrical version was cut and edited, and how you felt like there were pieces missing from it because you couldn't fill in the gaps, because you couldn't piece together things. You're not that kind of person. You need a movie to tell you everything. This movie will definitely change your mind. You will look at it and say, wow, I love this movie. Why didn't they have this? You'll be very angry that they didn't have this version in the theaters. If you're someone that had problems with the actual characters in the film, like Batman, he doesn't kill people. Again, depending on your bias and how deeply you go into that, you may find yourself saying, but wait, Batman didn't kill this guy. He didn't kill, it was Lex Luthor. So you may actually like this movie better than the theatrical cut, or you may not. You may hold fast and say, oh, Batman killed this person, or he killed that person, even though that's not necessarily so, because you don't know if he really killed those people, right? In fact, I don't know anyone that Batman straight up killed in this movie. Some people say that with the car chase, when he shot up the car and it flipped over and it exploded, that he killed all those people in the car. Or when he shot up the van and it exploded as well with the Batwing, he said he killed those people. We don't know if he killed those people, to be honest with you. What I can tell you, though, is he's extremely brutal in this movie. Batman is ridiculously brutal, and a lot of his movements, a lot of it, and there's so much footage that was removed from Batman that kind of robbed us from that Batman, that even more Batman-y Batman feel. But was Batman brutal in this movie? Absolutely. The Batman was brutal. I mean, he makes me scared to see him. Okay, once he's Batman, I'm afraid of the dude. Okay, I'm afraid of the guy because he's scary. Okay, but when he's Bruce Wayne, I can kind of, even though there's certain times when Bruce Wayne, when he focuses in a certain intense kind of way, that scares me as well. And there's an aspect of Ben Affleck that really, Ben Affleck's kind of scary. In fact, it makes me want to think of seeing him do the Accountant movie now. Because Ben Affleck can do action pretty well. I mean, he's very intense guy. And I've never seen a more brutal Batman than this Batman. I'm alright. I mean, hands down, this Batman is the Batman. This is the Batman that I have seen in the comics, the Batman in the animated series, the Batman in the video games. This is the Batman I know. Okay? And he's scary. I mean, this Batman is scary. Now, if you have a problem with Batman killing people, this movie may actually ease that problem, depending on how you look at what Batman does when he's fighting criminals. If you, though, have a problem with Batman killing people, period, that is to say, through some kind of action that leads to another action, the criminals die or they are badly maimed, then you're still going to have a problem with Batman. Superman in this particular Ultimate Edition, once again, is really Superman. There's a lot of things that he does that are very much Superman-y. Very much. A lot of times. I mean, throughout the movie, when Superman appears, he behaves like Superman. Superman does not kill people. And in this entire movie, he's killed one person, and he's not really a person. It's a Kryptonian like himself, which was Doomsday. Please show me, educate me on another time Superman killed someone in this movie. I didn't see it. Okay. So there's aspects of Superman. So if you had a problem with, Superman wasn't smiling in this movie, he wasn't saving people. Well, guess what? Superman was actually smiling in this movie, and he was saving people. But again, it depends on how deeply entrenched you are in your feelings or your bias towards the film. If you hated the film from the onset because you just hated the film and you were disappointed about it, you're probably going to come out of this Ultimate Edition still having those feelings because you already set your mind in a certain direction. But if you are open to things and you then watch this and you're like, yeah, that really was Superman. And this Superman is so much like Superman of the comic books. I cannot tell you how much he's like Superman of the comic. Man of Steel Superman is like the Superman of the comic books. Yes, he's evolving, he's growing, obviously. But very much the Superman. Wonder Woman. People said there wasn't certain scenes added to Wonder Woman. Actually, there was some scenes added to Wonder Woman. But what was hilarious was the introduction of the scene had some comedy to it, which I thought, you know, I like dry humor, and I like, you know, what we call, situational humor. So it was pretty funny, you know, what happened to introduce Wonder Woman a little later on in the movie. So yeah, there was a couple things added to Wonder Woman, and I thought that was cool. There's a lot of other things that I would like to talk about, but I don't like to spoil movies for people. Which one of the two would I recommend people watch? The Ultimate Edition or the theatrical? Well, let me put it to you this way. I would want you first to watch the Ultimate Edition, then watch the theatrical, because I'm pretty sure most people are not like myself, piecing together pieces, and they may not like the unique style of the theatrical cut. Did I think that Warner Brothers made a mistake by featuring the theatrical cut instead of the Ultimate Edition? Absolutely. Horrible mistake. The Ultimate Edition flows so much better that I think it's going to be, it actually has already been much better received by just about everyone than the theatrical cut. And I also believe that it eased into the characters, the controversial nature of the characters, a lot better. I thought the Martha scene was flushed out a lot better as well for those people who are against the Martha scene. And there's just so much more to this movie. And like I said, it was more of a masterpiece to me. There was a lot of pieces in the movie. Some people are going to watch it and say, and if they have seen the theatrical cut, they'd be like angry that they weren't in the theatrical cut. So by and large, what I'm trying to tell you guys is this. I believe the Ultimate Edition is a much more superior edition to the theatrical cut. No doubt about it. It has more information. There are things in there that were not anywhere near the theatrical cut. And if you didn't see the Ultimate Edition, you would not have a clue as to where a certain character or certain characters were coming from. But now it's quite clear in the Ultimate Edition. The other thing is a lot more people could follow it, and if you can follow it, it's not as confusing, because people said, you know, even the people who liked the movie said it was a bit confusing, especially the first time. If you go and watch the Ultimate Edition the first time, it's not going to be confusing at all to you. Not at all. And that is important. If people can follow a movie, then word of mouth can really generate. I think Warner Brothers made a huge mistake by not allowing the 3-hour theatrical cut to hit cinemas. People think it's 30 minutes longer, so that means they would lose money. Actually, they would gain money over the course of time, and it would become a classic. And when a movie becomes a classic, not only do you make $1 billion, but you make $2 billion. And then, you know, DVDs and all those things, and then your stock and toys and all of that really kick into gear. And it really would have kicked into gear the Justice League movie, which is coming up, which I'm definitely looking forward to. So, you know, these are just my simple opinions on Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Edition. Tremendously enjoyed it. I think it's a masterpiece. I'm going to say I didn't think that the theatrical release was a masterpiece, and I told people so. But this, the Ultimate Edition, is definitely, in my mind, a masterpiece of movie making, and it's something I have to watch multiple times. I'm just going to be watching it for, you know, but I need to have my 3 hours, or maybe I'll cut it up an hour and a half or something. But I have to find time to watch it. But it's really like a classic. It's like Lord of the Rings. It's like Watchmen. It's like all those classic comic book movies and movies, period. Titanic, you know, Terminator 2.